Thank you for listening to this introduction to Domestic Terror, a short story by author Corwin Black. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to any events, people, or things, living or dead, past, present, or future, is purely coincidence. Thank you so much. Enjoy and stay tuned for more of this story. The evening of Friday the 13th had passed without incident. Most people just went about their business as usual. Some watched what little news there was, as depressing as it sounded. Some people streamed a movie. Some people met with friends, since doing so was being allowed again, depending on what state you lived in. But something had happened that night, just before midnight, almost like someone had planned to make a statement by doing something awful on Friday the 13th. Mr. Abraham Tesla started that Saturday morning just like he usually did, with coffee. Abraham had been teased when he was a kid about being the world's smartest man. It didn't help that Abraham was actually pretty smart. However, his intelligence didn't reside in an ability to ascertain particle physics or quantum mechanics. He was good at observing other people's words. The story that was now emerging struck him as particularly peculiar. And by peculiar, Abraham Tesla thought that there was a whole lot that smelled very fishy. The Sirius News Network was first to break the story. There was a pause on the screen while a fancy logo with some sound effects flashed across the screen. The news anchor looked seriously into the camera. "We have preliminary reports that last night, an active shooter murdered 7 people in the city of Rubicon River. According to a source who spoke to us only on the condition of anonymity, the shooter's identity is Guy Persons. Mr. Persons is a politically motivated individual who has a self-tube channel dedicated to Second Amendment rights and political views held by the conservative Whig Party." The anchor paused for dramatic effect and then continued. "According to our confidential source, Mr. Persons invited 7 individuals from a rival political organization called Peace at Any Cost to his house and then shot and killed all 7 of them. He used a modified machine gun, a .45 caliber handgun. He also had a .357 Magnum handgun, a 12-gauge shotgun, and he also had a crossbow and a crowbar, a combat knife, and a baseball bat with nails in it. We also have reports that he had a blowtorch that he used on one of his victims. The Sirius News Network has asked the Rubicon City Police to comment on why they haven't charged Mr. Persons with any crimes, and they simply stated that they were examining the facts of the case." The news anchor looked at a small piece of paper that had just been handed to him. "The names of the 7 victims are Wayne Bundy, Ted Dahmer, Jeffrey Gosnell, Kermit Hussein, Saddam Jones, Jim Stalin, and Joseph Williams. Our hearts and prayers go out to the victims' families." That concluded the narrative from the Sirius News Network, and a serious outrage was coming. Abraham Tesla thought deeply to himself. He knew that there had to be other reports on this whole thing, so he searched and found another report, this one from the chief rival of the Sirius News Network. He hit play and listened carefully. "This is Jaguar News," said the anchor. "We have reports of the shooting deaths of several individuals in the state of Franklin, just east of Tennessee. According to the Rubicon City Police, there are 8 people involved. One of them is a self-tuber by the name of Guy Persons. Mr. Persons has a channel dedicated to Second Amendment rights. Apparently, the other 7 belong to a rival political organization called Peace at Any Cost. All 7 of that organization's members were killed in the incident. There are very few facts released so far by the Rubicon City Police, but they have confirmed that the incident took place at Mr. Persons' private residence in the evening of Friday the 13th between 11:03 and 11:07 p.m. On an interesting note, Mr. Persons has done several videos not only on Second Amendment rights, but on his dogs. He is a well-known breeder of Doberman Pinschers, which are renowned as being excellent watchdogs or guard dogs. And according to the report from the Rubicon City Police, 2 of his 4 Dobermans were also killed. We have no idea how that factors into the situation, but those are the facts as we know them. We'll bring you more when we find out. The news anchor concluded. Well, it didn't take awful long for the politicians to get involved. Early Monday morning, the Attorney General Associate Prosecutor, a woman by the name of Ms. Mary Celeste, held a press conference. She spoke with a great deal of conviction and all the courage that her Ivy League law degree had bestowed upon her. Mr. Persons has been arrested, and he is now held on 7 charges of assault with a deadly weapon, and murder charges may also be filed in the future. He is also charged with possession of an illegal silencer, an illegal short-barreled rifle, a machine pistol chambered in .380 Winchester, and several other weapons, said Prosecutor Mary Celeste. A reporter in the crowd was first to ask Ms. Celeste, "Question, Ms. Celeste, does the state of Franklin intend to prosecute Mr. Persons for the murders of his 7 victims?" asked a reporter from the Sirius News Network. "Absolutely," Mary Celeste replied without a second thought. "This is simply a no-brainer. The evidence that my office has pieced together so far is that Mr. Persons invited his victims to his house using social media. This post has since been removed. However, after they arrived, Mr. Persons proceeded to shoot and kill all 7 of his victims." Another reporter decided to ask a question. He was from Jaguar News. "Ms. Celeste, it was reported that Mr. Persons used or had at his property a bat with nails in it. Why would he use that when he had a machine gun?" Mary Celeste was taken back by the question, but she responded confidently. "Because he's a psychopath," she said. Mary Celeste reflected in her mind. With any luck, she could ride the fame and fortune of prosecuting this case all the way to the Senate. Outwardly, her appearance didn't show that. She remained stoic and serious. Inwardly, however, she was glowing. She could almost taste the United States Senate. Thank you for listening to this introduction to Domestic Terror, a short story by author Corwin Black. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to any events, people, or things, living or dead, past, present, or future, is purely coincidence. Thank you so much. Enjoy and stay tuned for more of this story.